Shadows of the Assassin. In a bustling, crime-ridden city, the rain poured relentlessly as a small girl no older than 8 scurried through the streets. Her name was Laya, a nameless orphan living by her wits. One night, after a botched attempt to steal from a wealthy merchant, she was cornered in a dark alley. Just when she thought her life would end, a shadowy figure appeared. The man was Rael, the feared leader of an underground guild of assassins. Intrigued by her courage and sharp instincts, he offered her a choice: face death or come with him. Leah chose life. Under Rael's ruthless guidance, Leah grew into a deadly assassin. By the time she was 20, she had become Rael's most trusted operative, eliminating his enemies with precision and without question. Um, she was a weapon, trained to feel nothing, to obey without hesitation. One day, Rael gave her the most significant mission of her life: infiltrate the royal palace and assassinate Prince Kale, a powerful and intelligent ruler whose growing influence threatened Rael's operations. The plan was simple: marry the prince in a political alliance, gain his trust, and kill him when the opportunity arose. Leah accepted the mission without hesitation, unaware of how much it would change her. Leah arrived at the palace as a noblewoman from a distant land, handpicked as a bride for Prince Kale. On their wedding day, Kale's politeness struck her. Unlike the cold, calculating rulers she had seen, he treated her with respect. His warm smile unsettled her. The first weeks of their marriage were distant yet intriguing. Kale was always busy with affairs of the kingdom, but he made time for her in subtle ways. One evening, he found her standing by the balcony, lost in thought. "You're quiet tonight," he said, handing her a cup of tea. "I'm not used to this kind of life," she replied, her voice careful. Kale studied her for a moment. "It must be overwhelming, but you'll find your place here. I'll make sure of it." His words, simple as they were, made her chest tighten. She was here to kill him, yet he treated her like an equal, something she had never experienced before. Leah's inner conflict grew as she watched Kale's interactions with his people. He would sit for hours listening to farmers, soldiers, and merchants, offering solutions with wisdom and care. One day, Leah accompanied him to a village devastated by a recent storm. She watched as he helped rebuild homes and comforted grieving families. That night, in their chambers, Kale noticed her troubled expression. "Is something wrong?" he asked. Leah hesitated before answering. You you care so much for these people. Why?" Kale chuckled softly. "Because they're my people. Their strength is what makes this kingdom thrive. Without them, I'm nothing." His humility pierced through her defenses. For the first time, she began to see the cracks in the lies Rael had built around her. As weeks turned to months, their relationship deepened. One stormy night, as thunder roared outside, Kale found Leah sitting by the fire, staring into the flames. He knelt beside her and gently took her hand. "I know you're hiding something," he said, his voice calm. Leah froze, her heart racing. "What do you mean?" Kale's gaze was steady. "I don't know who you really are, but I know you're not the person you pretend to be. Still, I trust you." Before she could respond, he leaned forward and kissed her forehead, a simple gesture that melted the ice around her heart. Tears welled up in her eyes, but she quickly turned away, afraid he would see her vulnerability. Truth and the fight. Leah's breaking point came when Rael sent another assassin to ensure the mission's completion. The assassin confronted Leah in the palace, accusing her of betrayal. A fierce fight erupted, and Leah managed to kill her adversary, but not before Kale stumbled upon the scene. Kale demanded the truth, and with nowhere left to hide, Leah confessed everything: her mission, her lies, and her growing love for him. "I was sent to kill you," she said, tears streaming down her face. "But I can't. I don't want to." Kale's face was a mixture of anger and heartbreak, but he surprised her by extending his hand. "Help me take him down. Together, we can end this." Despite her guilt, Leah agreed. The two worked together to infiltrate Rael's stronghold, using Leah's knowledge of his operations. The final confrontation was brutal. Rael, feeling betrayed by the woman he had raised, taunted her. "You're nothing without me," he snarled. "No," Leah said, her voice steady. "I'm more than you ever let me be." In a fierce battle, Leah defeated Rael, finally breaking free from his control. Ending, a new beginning. With Rael's death, Leah faced Kale in the ruins of the stronghold. What now? She asked, her voice trembling. Kale studied her for a moment before replying. That depends on you. Do you want to stay by my side? Leah nodded, tears filling her eyes. If you'll have me. Kale, Kale stepped closer, placing a hand on her cheek. I see the good in you, Leah. You've earned a second chance. Back at the palace, Leah began to rebuild her life. She worked alongside Kale to bring justice and peace to the kingdom. Though their journey was fraught with challenges, their bond grew stronger with each passing day. The story ended with Leah standing beside Kale on the palace balcony, looking out at the kingdom bathed in golden sunlight. For the first time, she felt free, free to love, to hope, and to build a future she never thought possible.